Western Florida is bracing for impact from a massive storm. Tropical storm Helene is now churning in the Gulf of Mexico and is expected to become a hurricane later today. Forecasters expect it will make landfall tomorrow with Category 3 intensity.
We're here at Tico Energy in Tampa. They're staging a lot of linemen for the upcoming storm, and we continue to have thousands of linemen pouring into the state. They're being amassed, and then obviously once the storm passes, they will go and work on power restoration. This storm, I think, as you know, is basically in the area of Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula. It's moving past that, and then it's going to have pretty much a clear runway in the Gulf of Mexico. We, of course, began preparing over the weekend. On Monday, I signed an executive order. We now have 61 of Florida's 67 counties that are in a state of emergency, and it's been able to help surge resources and help with preparations there. We are going to have a significant impact from this storm. It's a tropical storm now. It is going to become a hurricane. The models vary on how intense, but there's clearly a pathway for this to rapidly intensify prior to making landfall. You'll see these cones that get produced by the National Hurricane Center. You see these spaghetti models that get put out that I see online, and that's fine, and you should look at that, but just understand this is a very big storm. You're going to have impacts that are far outside of what a spaghetti model would have or what a cone would have. And so here in the Tampa Bay area, none of those spaghetti models or cones necessarily have the eye of the storm hitting Tampa Bay, but even if it's 100 or 200 miles off the coast, you are going to see impacts with storm surge, you're going to see impacts with flooding, and so just be prepared for that. There have been local communities, counties that have issued evacuation orders in a number of Florida counties. You still have time to be able to do that, and so I would heed those warnings. You can hide from the wind, and there will be significant wind on this storm, but you got to run from the water if you do have a major surge, and you stay behind in that, especially if you're in one of these low-lying areas, that is potentially hazardous. You do not have to evacuate so that you evacuate far enough to not have any impact of the storm. If you get to higher ground and get in a safe structure like the shelters that have been open, I know in Hillsborough County and in other parts of the state, that will be sufficient. Maybe you have friends that are in higher ground. Maybe you have a hotel that you want to go to. You don't have to drive hundreds of miles, but if you are told to evacuate and you're in those low-lying areas, just know that there is the potential to have some significant storm surge